Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Oh no, hold on one second, guys.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Sorry about that weird glitch. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there, enjoying your day, making it positive, making it what it needs to be and more out here in these streets. I'm about to tell you something, guys. I'm a little heated right now. I'm a little mad right now. I mean, you know, it all revolves around this information, this story, this case, this topic that we've been covering for a long time now. There have been new information that has dropped. And I'm telling you right now, it is not great. Long story short, not great at all. This person is an absolute monster. That's the long and short of the show. Have a great night. The show's over now. No, I'm totally kidding. But I am very, 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 very upset about the information that we are receiving here. I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And we're going to be talking about it as a family in just a minute. Man, this woman is terrible, okay? Terrible person. Do me a favor. Before we get into everything, before we get into the nitty gritty, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Send it all the way up. That would be really appreciated. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that reaction button. That would be greatly appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, crush that subscribe button. Hit that follow button on my Facebook page. Hit my follow or follow wherever you are watching this show right here. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to support the channel and you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to crush that join button and become a member of the family. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. Well, we got to get into this. Okay. We're not going to be on for a very long time, but we're here for informative time, not a good time, because this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to be really, really straight, funky, and honest with you guys. This is not going to be a fun conversation, but we can be rest assured that Ruby Franke, I hope she rots in prison. I said it. I hope she rots in doggone prison. There are details that are now out that are absolutely shocking. And I'm going to preface everything right now with this. First off, T-dubs, obviously. All right. I'm going to be using a lot of code words. If you are interested in looking into this yourself, by all means, please go and check those things out for yourself, okay? Read the information on your own time so that there are no code words being used and all that. But this is not an easy one for me to talk about because this has to do with littles, okay? Pride and joys, all right? And it's absolutely mind-blowing to me. But first, before we go into that piece, okay, there is some information. There is some stuff that I do want to share with you guys because some things did go down over yesterday. Okay. Yesterday, she had a court appearance. She made a court appearance. And of course, I want to share that with you guys. Okay. She did show up. She was out here, as you can see right here. All right. She did she did plead guilty in a deal. Okay. She's right now looking at 4 counts of CA. All right. 4 counts. She pled guilty. She didn't plead guilty to everything, but she did plead guilty. Okay. And she's looking at with each and every single one of them, they could be from 1 to 15 years in prison, depending on how the judge feels today or that day, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. So I do want to share with you guys first the her court appearance. We're not going to watch the whole doggone thing, but because I just want to get you guys to the place where we need to be, get you up to date on what's going on. But my Lord, this is terrible. Okay. So let's take a look at her court appearance right quick. All right. Hit the number 1. Let me know you guys can hear this. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Hit that subscribe button. You know the deal. Let's rock and roll. Hold on, guys. Boom.
District Court, we're here in the matter of State of Utah versus Franke, case number 231501764. Mr. Windward is here representing Ms. Franke. Let's bring her out. And Mr. Clark and Mr. Sham are here representing the State of Utah. Ms. Franke is now here. Mr. Windward, we are scheduled for a waiver hearing. Is there going to be a waiver today?
There will, plus a plea agreement, Your Honor.
All right.
I'll ask the bailiff to hand you if it's been executed.
All right. Mr. Windward, you have discussed with Ms. Franke a preliminary hearing, what's involved in a preliminary hearing. She understands she has a right to a preliminary hearing on all of the charges in the case. She understands what the charges are, and she's prepared to waive a preliminary hearing in the case on all charges.
She is, and that is contained in this agreement on page 7 as well.
Very good. All right, I've been handed a plea agreement, and it appears to be signed by Ms. Franke. Ms. Franke, did you sign this agreement?
Yes,
And you did that today? When did you sign it?
the 18th,
Okay. You've read it carefully?
every word.
Your signature represents to the court that you've read it carefully, that you understand what you've read, and that you agree to all of the terms. Is that all accurate?
Yes,
You've had sufficient time to ask questions of your counsel, to go over any questions you have. You're ready to go forward.
yes,
You don't need any more time.
I'm ready.
Ms. Franke, is anyone pressuring you to enter into this agreement?
No,
Anyone promising you anything I haven't been told about?
no,
Anything that's not in the written plea agreement?
no,
Are you under the influence of alcohol or drugs today?
no,
Is there anything today that could in any way interfere with your ability to understand the agreement, its consequences, anything?
no,
No physical condition, no medication, nothing?
no.
Not a dumb team. Now, one thing I want to point out, because I got to hop in and out of here because of fair use and all that crap. Okay. Don't worry. We're going to play the rest of this here very shortly. But clearly she took a plea deal. She's going to be pleading guilty. Okay. On majority of the counts, not all of them, but majority. Okay. And then you're going to hear her speak out. You're going to hear her say something. She just has to say guilty or not guilty, but she had to add extra-ish for the sake of adding extra-ish, okay? What bothers me is that, I don't know. It just feels like there's a level of disconnect. There's a certain level of disconnect that I'm feeling with this that just makes me feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe I'm the only one that sees that, but I just feel like there's no connection, that she still feels, not connections, but it does feel like she's disconnecting. Okay. She's disassociating herself from the whole thing. And it seems like, as she did through her lawyers, is trying to make it seem like everything is Jody's fault and she has no part in this. I call BS on that. Okay. This is somebody who's clearly not right in the head, and she needs an immense amount of counseling, and she needs to be locked up for as long as she can. She should never be anywhere near her children for as long as she lives. That's just what I think. I know we haven't gotten to the details yet. You are going to hear those very, very shortly. But this woman, to me, thinks in her mind, okay, I'm going to plead guilty, but I ain't guilty type ish. You're going to hear it in a second. Let's rock and roll.
Any further record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Windward, we ready to proceed?
We are ready to proceed.
All right, then. Ms. Franke, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a
Here we go.
second-degree felony?
BS.
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children, guilty.
She didn't have to say any of that ish, by the way. She didn't have to say any of that, by the way. Not one dumb thing had to come out of her mouth except guilty or not guilty, period.
There is a factual basis set forth in the agreement that is a stipulated factual basis, counsel.
That's correct, Your Honor. That is correct, Judge Walton.
Trash.
The court finds that the factual basis is sufficient. All of the terms of the agreement are stipulated, including that the court obtain a pre-sentence investigation report, correct?
Correct.
There won't be any argument about whether prison is the appropriate sentence, and there's an agreement about the 4 counts running consecutive.
That is correct.
All right, the court finds then that Ms. Franke's pleas are made knowingly and voluntarily. The court therefore accepts and enters those pleas. The court orders the preparation of a pre-sentence investigation report to be prepared by AP&P and the Department of Corrections. Counsel, what about sentencing on February 20th? I think, do you and your client agree to waive time, counsel?
We do agree to waive time, Your Honor.
February 20th, I believe, is a Tuesday. Is that right? Tw 10 a.m.?
That works for us, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else for today?
Your Honor, maybe, I've heard the court say this several times in a different fashion. We are not binding the court to any specific sentence, and the court retains its right to sentence as it sees fit. I just mentioned that this is not a Rule 11 plea, but although it's a stipulated statement of defendant.
Counsel, approach, please.
Now, this particular part, this is the part that I got a little confused about myself, because obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like there was a misunderstanding about the sentencing. So of course they're trying to make sure that they have that clear. If I have that piece correct, which is very interesting. Nonetheless, it's very, very interesting. No matter what, this was a very, very quick one. I mean, literally a minute later, the court is over. They adjourn, they leave, etc. She put in her pleas. She pleads guilty to 4 of those counts. Okay. And then of course she'll be back in for other things, she'll be back in court in the next few months. Now, the thing is I can see why she tried to go with the guilty plea deal, because I think she was really worried about get information coming out. Because if she sat there and said, I'm going to fight this, one, there's a lot of different things to put into perspective. One, she's avoiding the kids being brought up for testimony to testify against her. That's one. Another thing you got to remember is all the information, all the stuff that she allegedly did alongside Jody Hildenbrand, okay, would be exposed to the rest of the world. All of us would know the gruesome, disgusting, sickening details of what and how she moved around here when disciplining her children. Not even disciplining, when she was A-ing her children. Okay? So she was trying to avoid all of that. But guess what? Guess what? We got information here. Yeah. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to go into this article, and I'm giving you fair warning. Heads up, T-dubs, period. I got to use these code words. I can't even believe 99.9% of the stuff that she's doing to her littles. Can't even believe it. I can't even say this. I can't even say the title of this article. I can just show it to you. So there it is. Read, please. Okay. I can't even read that. I don't even know how to do that one. And then the rest of the article, like, there's a lot of stuff in here, and you're like, wow, this woman did what? I mean, we already knew about the, being locked up, right? We already knew about her not feeding them, right? We knew about that. Okay. But I didn't know about the water. I didn't know about the water. Why? What was she trying to do? Trying to find out where the WMDs are? Like, come on, man. These are kids. So, T-dubs, code words, we're going to rock and roll, okay? But she did these things, allegedly did these things to her kids, holding them with water, keeping them against their will, which we already knew about the shackles and being emaciated. And while telling them they were possessed. Now, let me just say this really quick before we go into, sorry, my nose itches like crazy. Sorry. But before we go into this article, I want to remind you, her first court appearance, she said, my kids did this, this, and this, and this. They're little devils. They did all kinds of unthinkable things to other children, not only just their siblings, but also relatives and children in the neighborhood. These are little tyrants. They need to be locked up because they're devil. They're the devil, right? I mean, she didn't say exactly that, but in layman, in very, very loose terms, this is what she was saying in her first court appearance, right? She was grasping at straws right at then, right? So we know that this is not a far-fetched thing. If she's sitting there going, they're possessed, they're the devil. And I can see you guys in the comments. You guys are just absolutely shocked. Absolutely. Damn right you're shocked. And we haven't even gotten into the damn article. You feel me? This woman is an absolute monster, and Jody is even worse too. Just as bad, if not worse. Please let them be buried under the doggone prison. They should never see freedom ever again. That's just me, though. Whenever you talk about children, you that kind of stuff happening to our little ones here, nah, man, that gets me angry as hell. Okay, angry as hell. But let's get into this. All right. This is a person that should like the audacity. It pisses me off more than anything in the world when you got somebody who's coming out smiling at people. She comes out, in her blue and white striped, prison outfit, right? She better get used to it because that's what she's going to be wearing for a very, very forever. I hope, depending on how this judge sees her, right? But she comes out and she's looking over and going, like saying hi to people, smiling at people. What the hell's wrong with you? Do you know what you're facing here? Do you know what you are being locked up for? The hell's wrong with you smiling at people? But that's just me, man. That's just me. Okay? Sorry, not sorry. We're talking about the kids, man. Anyway, Sabrina, thank you so much for the 5. Itchy nose means you're going to kiss a fool, LOL. That's what my grandma always said. Interesting. Well, ain't no fools in under this roof. All right. But I appreciate you letting me know that. And thank you for the super chat. But let's get into this. Again, it just angers me. We got some information. We got some stuff we got to go into. Please be kind. I'm going to be doing a lot of verbal gymnastics here. Okay. So ride with me. Sickening new details of the tea that YouTuber Ruby Franke subjected her children to have become public today, a day after she pleaded guilty to felony CA. Now, in my understanding, I thought by signing away and saying, yes, I will take the plea deal, I was thinking that this kind of information would not come out to the public. Either this was leaked or it just came out. Either way, my assumption, of course, again, not a lawyer, but my assumption is that she was hoping that this information would not come out, that the only information that we would get are the story that we know about, the 11-year-old crawling out of the window, going next door, how the young boy looked, how they found the other daughter, the other extended family members putting in their 2 cents, so on and so forth. You know, the stuff that we already know right now, that's already public knowledge. I figured that would be about it. But I didn't know that we were going to get, like, I think she thought that by signing away and saying, yep, me guilty, hide that stuff. I think that's what she thought would happen. And it's not happening at all. So let's continue. Franke, 41, which we already know, yesterday admitted to A-ing at least 2 of her 6 children over the last year. She's facing up to 60 years in prison and will be sentenced at a later date. Her plea agreement, which shaved 30 years off of the maximum term she faced, includes new information about how she did this stuff, these unthinkable things to her children, which we already know. She had the whole YouTube channel. Of course, we already know that crap. Okay. And even look at the look on her face here. It's like this puppy dog, like, I was really bad. Will you please forgive me? I'm sorry. I can't stand it. All right. I can't. So we got to get into this. Okay. We got to get into this information. And this is not going to be easy. All right. Fair mother loving warning. Hold on. Let me make sure. And if you appreciate me giving you guys this information, please hit that like button down below. Okay. Let's get it past 400 likes. Okay. A like don't cost a thing, but it also helps with this channel, helps with this show, helps with this specific feed and all that. Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay. Let's rock and roll here. So count 1, the defendant's actions involved the physical T of RF. Initially RF, which is, I'm assuming, the son. Initially RF was forced to do physical tasks for hours and days at a time. These included wall sits, carrying boxes full of books up and down stairs, and working outside. Eventually, RF was forced to do outside labor without shoes in the summer heat. I only got 3 sentences in and I'm already going, what in the Okay, so Nikki, thank you so much. RF is the one who went out the window. Yes, thank you. It's been a while since I've said the kids, or said anything about the kids' names. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to try to be respectful, not saying their names. Okay, but RF is the one who crawled out of the window. Okay, so just off of 3 sentences alone, 3-4 sentences alone, you got somebody who is already being punished in such a way that doesn't even make any sense. Okay. Now I get house chores. I get punishing your, disciplining, because punishing is such a heavy word. Disciplining your kid by doing house chores, or maybe going outside and doing some weeding the garden or something like that. You know what I mean? But now you're saying that they were out in the summer heat with no shoes on. So they're walking around on hot gravel, doing God knows what, wall sits, carrying boxes full of books up and down stairs, and working outside. You're pushing that kid, who's only 11, by the way, past his physical limits. Why would you do that? Okay, he was forced to stand in direct sunlight for several days. Why would you do this to a person? Who does that, man? He was forced to remain outside at all hours of the day and night for extended periods of time. So you just left him outside and you just said, lock the door and said, good luck, bye-bye. These actions resulted in repeated and serious sunburns with blistered and sloughing skin. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. RF was denied adequate water for several of the days he was required to remain in the summer heat, and he was punished when he secretly consumed water. He was denied sufficient food, and when given food, he was given very plain meals. Example, rice and chicken, while others in the house ate regular and more flavorful foods. He was isolated from other people and denied all forms of entertainment, and even including books, notebooks, and electronics. Can we just take a minute here? That breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart. This is an 11-year-old kid. And this is what sloughing. Is it pronounced sluffy? Sloughing? Sluffy. Sloughing? Thank you. Sloughing? Sloughing. Okay. Thank you, S-Dubs. Thank you, Sadie. I really do appreciate it, okay? But, okay, back to what we're talking about here. I've never heard this. I've never heard this kind of treatment before in my life. Ever. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you hear about, I mean, aside from the food, right? And the books and the electronics. But this is what I hear about people who are prisoners of war. The type of tea, okay? The type of torment that a child or that a person goes through when they are caught beyond enemy lines. This is not something that you do to an 11-year-old child. You just don't. Let's continue. This breaks my heart. In addition, after RF attempted to run away in July, his hands and feet were regularly bound. So he tried to run away in July. I wonder how many times he tried to run away. If it was only one time, and the second time he was actually lucky, or he was actually successful going across the street to the neighbor and saying, could you help me? I need some food, right? So after he attempted to run away in July, his hands and feet were regularly bound. This included being tethered to the defendant and to weights. So anytime he wanted to go anywhere, he couldn't, because he was either with her, tied up to her, or he was tied up to weights. So he couldn't even move unless he had to pick up that weight and carry it himself. So he couldn't go very far. Remember, this is an 11-year-old kid. So if you're putting, a decent dumbbell that he's tied to. That's a lot. So he can't go anywhere. Many times the situation included using 2 sets of handcuffs, one on RF's wrists and one on his ankles. At times, with RF lying on his stomach, ropes were used to tie the 2 sets of handcuffs together so that his arms and lower legs were lifted off the ground. Oh my God. This is a kid, y'all. Oh my God. So this resulted in injuries to his wrists and ankles where the handcuffs actually went through the skin and, of course, damaged muscle and tissue. These injuries were treated with homeopathic remedies and covered with duct tape. Then these bindings were placed on top of the duct tape. That's only part 1 of this. Hold on. I need to breathe here for a second. Because that hurts. That hurts. That really hurts. If you even have a heart and you're hearing about this, this just hurts. The things those kids went through. The things those kids went through, and that's just the tip of the iceberg here. This is just one of the children so far. But why would you do this? Why? And then on top of it, telling them that they are possessed by the devil. I just don't get it. It's beyond me. I just don't get it. And it's I can't. I'm at a loss for words. I'm really at a loss for words because it's like instantly I think of my own. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I could. Oh my God, I could never. Any child going through this, I can't even believe that this is even makes you rot. Like I'm telling you right now. I know we're not done with this yet, but here it is. If the judge goes, we'll give you 5 years, I will write a fiery letter to the judge. I feel like everybody should. This is insane. Yes, there was, yes, Nurse Janice, yes, cayenne pepper used on the injuries. Then they covered those things up with duct tape, and then they just continued to keep the handcuffs on and just let it be what it was. You gotta remember, deep. I already know this video or this show is not going to get. I'm trying my hardest to get around certain things so I could keep this monetized. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta keep, I gotta pay the bills. But at the same time, like with this, there's no turning back now. Okay, laceration so deep, it was cutting through muscle and tissue. Think about that. That's insane. Okay, that's absolutely insane. Thumper Z, thank you so much for being a member for the past month. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Pascal, for doing this live. It's visually clear this is devastating for you to do. Yes, this is not easy. This is not easy. This one's a tough one. For anything that has to do with kids, there's a soft place in my heart, but these details break my heart. Okay. Because no kid should be going through this ever. No kid should be going through this ever. Let's continue though, because the faster I get through this, I guess the less pain I feel, right? Still sucks. Let's get into this. All right. Specific incidents of A committed by the defendant include 1, kicking RF while wearing boots. 2, holding his head, can't say that word, but it has to do with water. Submersing his head with water. And 3, wow, cutting off oxygen and placing her hands over his mouth and nose. Have mercy. I'm hoping this kid has some counseling, the right people around him. I cannot believe this. Count 2. That was only count 1, y'all. Oh my God. Count 2. The actions described above caused severe emotional harm or emotion harm to RF due to the fact that they began in May and escalated throughout the summer months. Additionally, the defendant and another adult, who we already know, regularly sought to indoctrinate RF and convince him that he was evil and possessed, and that he needed to willingly be obedient to avoid punishments, and that the punishments were necessary to repent. He was also told that everything that was being done to him were acts of love. Count number 3. The defendant's actions also caused severe emotional harm to EF, the other child, the daughter. Other than binding in specific instances of A, RF was subjected to, EF was subjected to the same treatment as her brother. She was isolated and forced to do physical tasks, remain outside, and denied food and water. She was also repeatedly told she was evil and possessed. The punishments were necessary for her to be obedient and to repent, and these things were being done to her in order to help her. EF was convinced that she was evil and needed to go through these things in order to repent. Do you realize how much brainwashing they were doing to those children? They're basically buck breaking these children in such a violent manner to the point where you got a little girl thinking that she's evil, actually believing in her own mind that she is evil, and she probably didn't even know why, because whatever was being told to her had made no logical sense. But because those 2 women were basically telling them that you're evil, this is why this is happening to you. This is why you're being locked up. This is why you're not eating today. This is why you're standing out in the sun for days on end in the sweltering heat. This is why we're doing all these things. This is why you must repent, because you're evil. You got a little kid who's believing that. I wish she didn't do that plea deal, man. I really wish. Count 4. The defendant's actions caused 2 or more physical injuries to EF. She was forced to work outside in the heat barefoot. She was also forced to run barefoot on dirt roads for an extended period of time. EF's feet were repeatedly injured by, and she was repeatedly sunburned. When examined on August 30th, these wounds were apparent by scabs, blistering, and sloughing, as I'm learning here, sloughing skin, which it says down at the bottom. Okay. I need y'all to do me a favor. I know this is not easy to hit the like button on this show, But if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, because I already have a feeling this is not going to be out there like that. So if you give this video some love, that'd be greatly appreciated. This is hard. Like, reading it before is one thing, reading it out loud is another. You know what I'm saying? So if you can, that'd be greatly appreciated. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, but whatever. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see if there's more. Okay. Of course, let's not forget, this is a particular person that was out here saying and going online to her YouTube families, basically saying, yeah, this is how I discipline my children, blah, blah, blah. I don't feed them. I don't do this. This is this. They do chores around the house, all that stuff. Okay. This was all stuff that she was doing for years, talking about this for years on her YouTube channels. And of course, you had people that were other YouTubers that were reacting to those things and talking about those things, basically saying, these are huge red flags. This person is a very, very bad person. She should not be telling people how to raise children or how to discipline their children, when what they do are throwing up all kinds of red flags. This is the kind of situation that I have a huge problem with, because for a fact, Kevin Franke knew something that was going on. Why isn't he being locked up? Why are they going to try to let this man take full custody over these children that have been tormented, not only just by her, but also by him just standing by and letting this stuff go down? It's absolutely mind-blowing to me. Now, I get it that they said that the stuff didn't escalate until this past summer, but at the same time, there were things that were implemented way before Jody Hildebrandt waltzed her nasty, disturbing, monstrous ass into their lives. They've been talking about this stuff for years, y'all, for years on their YouTube channels. Trust me, you could go on YouTube and type in compilation videos of Jody Hildebrandt, or not Jody Hildebrandt, of the Frankies, and there'll be countless videos back to back showing CA, examples of CA all day long. And they just talk about it like it's nothing. Even Kevin sitting there going, oh yeah, you got a problem with it. This is how we raise our children. You focus on yours, that kind of stuff. You got to be kidding me. Then they were dumb enough to bring in Jody Hildebrandt and she was just like, hey, why don't we just turn this all the way up to 11 and rip the knob off? And that's exactly what they did. And then, when you look at Jody and Ruby, and the fact that Ruby is now trying to throw Jody under the bus, trying to be like, oh, she manipulated me. No, you were implementing this type of behavior, this type of punishment with your children for the longest time. Jody Hildebrandt just came in and just was a yes person. She enabled. She helped you out. She made you feel not so crazy. She made you feel right in how you were raising your children. And she goes, yes, that's exactly how you're supposed to do it. This is what I do to all my other clients. So she felt emboldened in how she conducted herself with her children. Except now, they decided to throw a whole lot of cayenne pepper into the mug. Pun intended, not intended, high key, low key. And now this woman has the absolute audacity of saying, oh, she's the one who did all this stuff. I was a good mom who just wanted to transcend and be better, have a better way of life. No, putting your children in the way that they were being put in the situations that they were put in, is not a better way of life. Do you realize how jacked up in the head those children are going to be? You didn't make their lives better. You made them immensely worse. You rewired these kids' brains. God knows what happened to the other ones. In fact, the older ones are probably lucky for being born first. because they gone. They could get away from the situation. Rook, what's up, man? Thank you so much for being a member for the past 5 months. I appreciate it. So happy to be here. Much love and respect, Pascal. Thank you so much. Same to you. All right. Same to you, Rook. And happy holidays to everybody. Okay. I know it's hard to say that with such a juxtaposition, given the fact that we're talking about this. But my Lord, happy holidays. Real talk to everyone, every last one of y'all. I mean, let's be real. Those kids are probably going to have the best Christmas ever, because why? They mama is gone. She locked up. Okay, let's keep that a buck. Okay, she gone. Those kids, on a positive note, don't ever have to deal with her, at least for now. They're gonna have the best Christmas right now, without punishment, without having to stand out in the cold or something like that, without having to do chores, without being told that they're possessed, without being told that they're evil. So yeah. We're going to find out in a couple months. I'm going to be real. If this judge decides to let her be in there just for a couple years, I don't know. I'm going to do everything I can. I don't know. I'm going to write letters or something, because this is not a person or a heated email. Okay. Do judges have Yelps? Okay. I'm just saying, I'm going to be mad. All right. That's going to burn my cookies. Real talk. Because this is somebody who should be in there for a very, very, very long time. Another thing, though, too, I don't think that Kevin Franke should have any possession of those children. They need to be set free from the clutches of those two parents, because whatever she was doing before he okayed it, he gave it the thumbs up. This is somebody who that doesn't have even a spine. All right? That's my thoughts. And I don't care. I would tell him to his face. This is somebody who has no spine. He let those things happen to those children too. He stood idly by and let that stuff happen. And I don't care. We can have words. I don't care. I will win every time, because you know exactly what you did and what you didn't do. You were not part of the solution. You were most definitely part of the problem. Oh, and the families, the extended people, all of them too. They all need to sit down and have a little powwow and figure out what the F they're doing, because you know for a fact those people had to know something was going on. You cannot sit here and tell me you just sat idly by and not known anything. Nothing. Except they'll sit there and go, oh yeah, Jody seemed very interesting and Ruby changed, but you didn't know anything at all? Not at all. Nothing at all. When you say that you guys are so tight, so close, you didn't know nothing? I call lies on that. Okay? I call lies. And yet they're still out here making videos, trying to, do vlogs, trying to make the money off of those videos, when they shouldn't even be doing videos at all, covering this at all. Show us you building the house. Okay? Continue doing your thing then. Don't be like, oh, how I told the children about Ruby. F all that. We don't want to hear that stuff. Yet you're capitalizing, you're monetizing that situation for your own you see what I'm saying? For your own financial gain. Forget all that noise, y'all. Man, shoot. Toenail. You got me cursing and crail. I'm just saying. But that was really tough to read. And that is only a snip. Like, I'm sure there's a lot more. I'm sure there's a lot more. But those details, no child should ever have to go through those types of experiences. Ever. Ever. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I can't talk. I'm going to open up the phone lines, okay? Just briefly. Be kind. I know that there are people out here that are supporters of Ruby Franke. Hey, if you disagree, please disagree in a diplomatic way. Don't be an ass. If you're an ass, I'm hanging up. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it classy. That's all I ask. Okay? Give me a call. Keep it PG as well. Exactly, Nikki. Keep it PG. Because I know some people, like, I get it. Feel you. Just say it in a diplomatic way. Trust me. Yeah, Katya, yes. Yeah. There are people out here that are supporters of Ruby and think that she's done no wrong. I don't get it. I don't get it. But at the same time, give me a call, 314-766-4581. Let me know what your thoughts are. All right. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it classy. If you're an ass, I hang up. That's it. Okay. Love to hear your thoughts. So, again. Oh, okay. Hey, you on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Patty. I'm calling from Missouri. I'm Little Patty in your chat.
Hey, little Patty. How you doing? What's on your mind? Speak on it.
I just wanted to say that no matter what punishment they give those two monsters, it's not going to be enough.
You know what? You're right. Damn it. It'll never be enough. They should. Oh, my Lord. You got a point. Like, because even if they get, like, she probably won't get the worst. She probably won't get the harshest punishment. But she could get, but even so, it's like, okay, she could be out in a couple, in a certain amount of years on good behavior, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You're right. I mean, I just feel like even the punishments, the sentences that these alleged monsters do or like get never add up to the torment and the unbelievable things that they do to these littles. So I don't.
Those
you're right.
kids are never going to be right.
No, they're not. They have a lifetime of therapy and some serious counseling, because for a fact they're gonna move unless they're lucky, right? Unless their minds are resilient and they get the proper counseling way ahead of time. This could backfire. This could have a lasting effect that could turn into addictions, leaning on specific vices later on in their lives because they haven't gotten a chance to properly work those things out. So I hope you're right. I hope that, man, I'm praying for those kids. I'm praying for those kids, Patty. Real talk.
Yeah, so am I.
Because, yeah.
They've got a rough road ahead of them.
Yeah, they really do. They really, really do. I just can't believe these kids went through this kind of stuff. Like, real talk. I'm just shocked.
I was watching Peter Tragos yesterday, and he read those charges.
Oh, he read the same thing?
Yeah, he read the same thing you did. And it just, oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's hard to read this. It's hard to read it out loud. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not hard to read, but it's hard to read it out loud.
Usually Peter Tragos is usually very
diplomatic.
fair.
Diplomatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could see he was visibly upset.
Yes. The lawyer, guys, just so you guys know, the lawyer knows. Okay. Peter Tragos, fantastic channel, fantastic show. Yeah. I would love to get him on the show just to chop it up with him on some legal stuff. But yeah, it is. I feel like this would make any grown man cry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he was sick. He's also sick.
Yeah, it's that
And
time of season.
I thought he was going to burst out crying there for a couple of times.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, who does that to any child? You know what I mean? Even so, when you hear the 911 call where the kid, where RF goes to the neighbor and he's on 911 in the 911 call, and he's like, this kid is not in good shape. And that man, a grown man, is busting out crying. You see what I'm saying? That says a lot of how bad that kid looked. Yeah, this is enough to make a grown man cry. With, you know, one of the most toughest dudes in the world, who only smokes Marlboro Reds and Bud Hards, okay, Budweiser Hards. You know what I'm saying? It could even make him crack. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's this is a tough one. But Patty, thank you so much for calling in. I really do appreciate it, sweetheart.
I appreciate you. I will listen to your channel all the time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Happy
You
holidays.
don't sound like yourself on the phone.
Say that again. What?
You don't sound like yourself on the phone.
Oh, for real? It might be. It
Yeah.
might be the microphone or something. Maybe it's just how you hear me through the phone. Maybe, I don't know, but it is me.
It could be. I've got decked out speakers on my computer, so
Oh, that's interesting.
I listen to music on my computer,
I
so I've
appreciate
got the sound system really decked out.
Yeah. Oh well, you know, I'm sure it sounds really nice on the computer. And which I'll see you over there. Okay. Thank you so much for calling in. All right.
Okay, thank you, Pascal.
Thank you, Patty. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Tammy. I'm calling from Tennessee. It's Chef Apples 97 in the chat.
Thank you,
I
Tammy.
do.
Tammy, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for calling.
I've been a fan of yours for years.
Thank you, Tammy.
Um,
Tammy, thank you so much. What's on your mind? Speak on it.
I can honestly say that with the right therapy, because mine happened when I was 5, but I was never tied up.
Gotcha.
It took me till 48 to stop blaming myself,
Oh,
but I have never laid a hand on my child, grandchildren, anything. These kids can survive, but they will never forget this monster. I can say my exo something of a father is dead, and he crashed into a wall, and I rejoiced that day.
man. Well, first off, I appreciate you sharing your story here. And I know that, okay, you know, it is very young. 5 years old is very young, but it still had a lasting effect on you. And, you know, I look at that and I say, well, I'm glad that you found a way to not continue to blame yourself. You see what I'm saying? And what was it?
Yes,
What
sir.
was it that made you change that perspective from, you know, blaming yourself to actually looking at the man who was the monster in your life?
They had diagnosed me because of trying to kill myself at 6 with manic depression. This was in the 70s. But at 48, they finally put me in PTSD therapy. And I got to beat the stuffing. And I had a counselor literally telling me, treat me like I'm your dad, he said.
Yeah.
I almost punched him, and he said he was going to let me. But at that moment, I took my power, and I threw his away.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And
But that was
this
how
case just brings back so much.
how old were you when that happened? Like when you finally were able to relinquish your own
48
power?
years old.
48.
48.
So
Yes, because my dad's side of the family and my mom blamed me when the SWAT team came in and found my dad on top of me with a pillow over my face and doing what he was doing to me.
Yeah.
My mom had a psychotic break. So her mom blamed me for that. My dad's family blamed me for him going to prison.
Tammy,
So my whole life it was my fault.
I'm so sorry.
But they need to be taken away from both parents. My mom did not know what was going on because he'd wait till she'd be at work.
And this was going on for how many years? Do you know? Do you remember?
Since I can remember.
Wow. Wow.
We know it was before the age of 3. But he told me I was the devil. He tried to drown me. He told my best friend the day the SWAT team came, her dad worked for DCF back then. He told her that she was going to find me the next morning in the cemetery outside my bedroom window. And she ran home, told her mom called her dad at work.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes later, the SWAT team came and saved my life.
Well, thank God for that. I mean, thank God for that.
Yes. And we're still best friends almost 50 years later.
That's amazing. She's
my angel. Her and her dad are my angels.
You know, one thing is that there's a lot of people that are not as lucky, you know, to have that kind of angel coming in, or that help, that refuge, to come out and get you out of a bad situation. And, you know, I commend you for just acknowledging it and being able to transcend from it, and not passing on that I feel like it's like a virus, right? That generational virus, passing it on to your children and your children's children. So I commend you for, you know, finding a way to come to terms with it, finding your own power, and of course, letting go of that self-blame and that self-hate. Because I know that, I mean, can I ask you if it's okay? Did you find yourself leaning on any type of, I don't know, any specific vices or anything of that sort? Or was it just depression and self-hate?
I didn't have depression. It was just self-hate. But I knew at 12 I was diagnosed with leukemia, and my mother and her mother instilled in me, God doesn't give you nothing that won't make you a stronger person. Everything he does is for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, to this day, because I now have she was a stranger 2 weeks ago, living with me because I have an extra bed. And I have always, since my brother says 7, have always helped others.
Yeah.
Because I knew what God wanted me to do, but I couldn't stop blaming myself.
Yeah.
No matter how much I love the Lord or anything, I blamed, because it was drilled in you your whole life. But now that they're away and they're in foster care, that's the best thing for them children.
Yeah.
Not to have contact from any of them families. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I just have to say, I mean, I just, you know, man, I'm sorry. It's just a lot to consume all at once, but I do appreciate you, you know, sharing this information, you know, well,
I can now talk about it.
No, I understand that. And it does take time, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you getting counseling immediately after this happened, when your father was caught? Or is this like multiple years later you sought out counseling?
I started getting counseling when I was 6 and tried to kill myself because I thought I was the devil.
You were 6?
And that's when I was 6.
Whoa. Oh my Lord.
But I have never done it again.
Of course. Thank God.
But that's when the counseling started. And I have to say, I'm in my 50s and I'm still in counseling because I'm scared if I stop, I'll start blaming myself again, and I won't let that happen.
Yeah.
But I want all the people on your show to know that with counseling, they won't forget that they can overcome and they can break this cycle.
You're absolutely right.
I don't ever want people to say they're doomed. We're scarred, but we're not doomed.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. But I think that there's not a lot of people. I think nowadays maybe things are a little bit different because the times have changed. But I think it still can be very hard to find people in your cheering for you in your corner, especially if they don't know what's going on. It can be very hard for people to know if they should be there to be that shoulder to lean on or that ear to listen to listen to your problems, etc. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I think it's really important that, I'm really happy that times have changed in that way, and so
yeah,
I
counseling is now not a taboo.
No, it's not. It's not. It doesn't automatically mean that you're, lost your marbles or anything like that anymore. I think it's incredibly crucial. But I also do think it's important that people know and have some sort of sensitivity towards people who have gone through things as well, because sometimes you can go to a counselor all day long, but still walk back out into the world and still feel absolutely alone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did that. I did that for years until they decided a doctor reassessed me.
Right.
And was like, you've never had a manic. You've never had a depression. You have to, but it used to be, I hear a man yelling.
Right.
I'd run for dear life, or because the SWAT team came in and masked and stuff. They look in the 70s, they look like them underwater divers.
Mm-hmm.
And they never took their mask off even till they got to the hospital when the social worker came. If I see a ton of police, I get scared.
Right.
So he reassessed me and said, well, in the 70s, only if you were in war were you diagnosed with PTSD. And since I started getting the right treatment, I now know it wasn't me. I was the child. I was the little girl. He was the grown up.
Yeah, it's I see what you're saying, and of course, as you get older, I know that that's what happened to you, as a child, but I'm sure those things that trigger you, you may not fully understand right off the bat. Like, why am I getting so anxious when I see a bunch of cops, a gathering of cops, or why do I get the fear or the anxiety of wanting to run away when I hear a man yelling? Were you able to connect those things right off the bat, or were you still kind of trying to figure out what the connection was and why you were reacting in that way?
When I turned 50 is when I had a really bad experience. My grandson was playing baseball.
Yeah.
And he was playing against a team that's all parents were from the police department here. And I had to run to my car. And the next day I called my therapist and she said, come in, please. And I went in, me, her, and my other counselor talked. And he's like, now, remind me what happened. And I told him, and he's like,
yeah,
it's your PTSD. You're having severe anxiety when this happens. And now I can see, when I see a bunch of them, I know, excuse me, officers, I have to walk away. And I do. I don't need anxiety medicine or any of that anymore.
That's great.
I know what's triggering it, and I can walk away.
That's incredible. So you're not on,
Yeah.
so no Lexapro, no other types of medication at all.
No,
Wow.
no, sir. Well,
That's incredible.
I do have clonidine. It's the mildest dosage. And if I have to go in an MRI machine or stuff like that, I know to take one. So I don't flip out and rip that headpiece they put over your head off again.
Yeah.
And if things get real stressful, like I see a fight or something, I know you need to take your medicine so you don't go ballistic and hide in the corner. But that's all I'm on.
Yeah.
And I maybe take one every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
But I've never turned to drugs, alcohol, none of that.
well, I mean, it obviously shows to me how resilient you are, and you know, not every, and I have to, you know, say this too, not every person that deals with CA or A turns to chemicals for, you know, as a vice, you know, but we do hear a lot of those stories, of course, you know, those kind of tragic stories.
If you say you have PTSD, this is still a stigma. People automatically think you're on drugs.
True.
Or you're an alcoholic. That's not true.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. But Tammy, I do appreciate you calling in. I want to say, you know, first off, it takes a lot of guts to talk and say this out to the family.
Oh yeah, I was scared you were going to hang up on me, and everybody in the chat was going to hate me.
No, of course not. No. Not at all. Never. Okay, never. Okay, you'd have to do the complete antithesis, the complete opposite for me to hang up on you. Okay. But I do appreciate you telling us your story. And you know, it also, I think, gives a lot of people that have gone through trauma like you, some semblance of hope that there is a place where you can find balance, emotionally and mentally as well, and find strength within yourself. The fact that you said that for years, decades even, you were saying you were blaming yourself, and the fact that through counseling you were able to say, wait a second, I'm going to regain my strength back and let go of my monster of a bad, you know, energy, and relinquish that self disappointment, right? It gives a lot of people some serious hope. Seriously. So I appreciate you, Tammy, for saying everything right now. It really means a lot.
You're more than welcome. I just wanted to, because I seen a lot of people in the chat saying they destroyed. They didn't destroy. They hurt and were damaged, but were not destroyed. We have hope.
You're right. There is always hope. I couldn't agree more. Tammy,
yes, sir.
Thank you so much for calling. All right. You stay blessed. We'll see you in the chat. But again, thank you so very much for the call. It really means a lot.
You're more than welcome. God bless.
You too, sweetheart. Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. I think I'm going to close the call-in segment now. I think that was solid. The phone calls have been fire lately. And it's not like, and I don't mean that in any type of way. I'm just saying, I just appreciate you guys. I really do. So when we get these phone calls, especially, and all of them have been fire, all of them are amazing. But when we get to hear a story of somebody being able to transcend from the CA that they've experienced, I'm hoping that the people who are literally enduring it right now, the ones that are surviving or who are survivors, okay, right now, that are listening right now, I hope every single last one of y'all heard that phone call. Yes, it took years of her blaming herself, saying it was her fault, self-hate and all that. But she was able to transcend through that. Yes, it took time, but she still kept going at it. She kept working at it. And I think that's something that we all should be taking with ourselves as well. Even for those of us who just are dealing with any type of other mental health, any other types of mental health issues, from depression to anxiety to PTSD on other things. If you keep working at it, it'll eventually work. And we have to believe that as well. And I'm hoping that when it comes to Ruby Franke's kids, man, I wish they could hear this conversation, right? I wish they could hear that phone call and know that, yes, it may be a long journey. It may be a short journey towards forgiveness of oneself and eradicating the negative thoughts that you have in your mind on thinking that, oh, it's my fault that this happened. No, I am evil. Oh, no, I am the devil, right? Maybe it will be a short journey. Either way, I hope that they're having people like Tammy in their lives that can push them or at least lead them down the right path towards self-acceptance and strength. And I hope you guys dealing with addiction, even anger, all right? Anger issues, PTSD, anxiety, you name it. I'm hoping you hear that story because it is a journey, okay? It's not, there's no surefire shortcut towards mental happiness, right? But we get up every single day and we keep working at it every single day until we get there. And when we get there, you guys will know. You guys will definitely know. But again, I appreciate all the phone calls and the information. This is why I like the Speak On It segments, because you guys come in with your stuff, with your stories. And I hope this uplifts you, even though we just read through some really unthinkable, devastating stuff. I think it's necessary that we have these hard-hitting questions or hard-hitting conversations, okay? So yeah, I just hope you guys take this and really listen to that one. I think that was crucial. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. You guys are incredible. Okay, phone lines are definitely closed, okay? But I appreciate all y'all for calling in, being a part of the conversation. Trust me, there will be many, many more opportunities to do some call-ins. I just think that last phone call was a great way to end the Speak On It segment, okay? But we'll get other chances to talk very, very soon. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, make it scream out your name and all that good stuff. All right? That would really mean a lot. I'd love to see you go past 500 likes, before you leave. It just helps the show, okay? Trying to build this show beyond, okay? So please do that. That'd be very much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook and you appreciate these conversations, please be sure to hit that follow button on my Facebook page, okay? That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated as well. it's time to get going. Have a great one, guys. Happy holidays if I don't see you guys. But, of course, I'll be back on with other stuff here in the very near future. Don't you worry. We got a lot of stories to tell and a lot of conversations to have. So anyway, I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Stay blessed, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.